Hello, this is Matt Cheese, and this is a video to show you guys the updates and new features to Command and Control, which was formerly known as ASM for Advanced Squad Movement. And the first update is that I had to change the name because I didn't do my homework before I put it out, and it turns out there's already a mod out there that's called ASM. So from now on, it's going to be called Command and Control, or in short, C2. So let's get into the basics first, and then I'm going to show you the more interesting stuff, hopefully very quickly. Alright, so let's get into the new features for 3D HUD mode first. The first item on the menu is that before we had these indicators that were little bubbles that were sunk sort of halfway into the ground. I wasn't really too happy with those, so I made some custom objects, which are these little puck type looking things. They're also transparent, and they also you can also see them in the dark. I'm not too happy with the coloring yet and stuff. There's so much really stuff to figure out that I don't know anything about RV mats and all that jazz, but I might tweak those a little bit in the future. And the next thing is that, as you can see here, I have 15 AI units in my squad right now, and it's going to work for all of those, where before it was only able to access the first, well, up to unit 10 through 3D HUD mode, so that's fixed now, and you don't have to switch pages or anything. So if you want to, let's say, select unit number 11, you would still hold down your control key, and then also your shift modifier, and then F1 for unit 11, F2 for unit number 12, and so on. Same as if you're just selecting unit 2, you would just press control and F2. Control Shift and F2, unit 12. Boom, there you go. Okay, so what else? I added a new rotation speed for 3D HUD mode because this is what you had before, and it just took ages to get anywhere if you wanted to achieve more dramatic increments. So now if you hold Control and then your Alt modifier, you can get bigger increments and then just spin it all around the circle really fast, or at least a lot faster than before. And then if you want to get fine grain control, you just let go of your Alt modifier, and then you have your fine grain. Then the next thing is that I added a lock feature for these indicators, because let's say you have a lot of units selected like I do have now, and then you're not really sure what's happening beyond number 7 here, and you're tempted to take a look around, and guess what? All these indicators are gonna follow where you're looking. So now I added a lock key, which you have to map to user action 16. That's really important, or it's not gonna work. So if I press that button that I have mapped, I can turn around and I can see all the units, and everything still works. You can still deselect units, you can still rotate the formation, you can still switch the actual formation style, and all of that stuff. Everything's the same except these won't move anymore, and then if I press T again, it's gonna snap back to my to wherever I am targeting my weapon or my view, so to speak. Alright, so much for the basics. Let's get into the interesting stuff. And what I want to talk about first is what I call sector coverage, which means that before, if you selected some units and sent them down anywhere, they would all be facing the direction of where this line is pointing right now. And I changed that. You can see that I added this little arrow indicator here. It's really tiny, but you can kind of see it. And right now it's pointing to the right. And what that means is that if I send the units, let's say down here, and it's pointing to the right, they will be facing away from that little wall. So I'm going to send them there. And you can see how they orient themselves. The first guy, the point man, he's still going to be watching straight. But then behind him, the guys are going to change their looking direction in a 180 degree half circle. So that means the guy in the back is always going to be facing the opposite direction of the guy in the front, and the same also works, of course, in the other direction. So if I select fire team green now and then change the formation, it's going to switch into a second line formation oriented to the left. So I'm going to send them there. And that's really nice because these guys are going to be covered by the building facing the other direction, covering a half circle, and these guys are going to do the same thing in the other direction. Of course, if you would be moving in open terrain, you can you could have you could set up a 360 security like this really fast, where the left team is facing left, the right team is facing right. The same also works for the L formations. So if I send fire team red down here real quick, we're going to see that the point man is going to be facing the same direction that I'm facing right now. The guy in the 90 in the right angle of the L, he is going to be pointing away, which is not ideal right now, but he kind of gets the idea. And then the guys in the back, also this guy should be pointing way more in this direction, but that's something that you don't really have too much control over. It's just a lot nicer than before. If I do it again, maybe it works a little bit better. I'm gonna send fire team green around this building corner. And they're gonna do the same thing in the opposite direction. Well, these guys are not really helping me too much, but you get the idea. Alright, so this brings me to the first highlight of this update, and that's that before you could only have these indicators move anywhere on ground level, but now watch what happens if I point at a building that has building positions available. Boom, it's gonna snap to the available building positions, and I'm gonna explain to you how this works. So this building in particular has 10 building positions available. So you see that there's 10 units that are absolutely inside of the building at the available building positions. But I have more units selected right now, frankly all 15 AI units. So after the building positions are manned, the next 4 positions are going to be snapping to the bounding box of the building. So that means they're going to be covering the edges, like you can see Unit 13, Unit 14, Unit 11, and Unit 12. But then since there's still more in my selection, 13, 14, 15, those will just go to randomized positions somewhere in the proximity of the building, not too much further than the bounding box would allow. So and also if you see that you don't really like what you see, you could just take the indicators away and look at the ground again and then move them there again. And let's say you like this better, then you could just try a couple ones until you're happy with the result, if you even have so many units selected. But now let's see what happens if I send the units there. I'm actually gonna go inside to see what they do. You got units coming in. Sometimes when they move in, they do this It's kind of alright this time. They do the little human centipede thing, but that's kind of a high quality problem. But they're actually going to go upstairs and man all the available building positions. This guy is always there. There's always a building position somewhere in the middle of the stairs, so this guy is like the household pet, just blocking the way to wherever you want to go. And then, as you can see, they're not all just facing some random direction, but they're all facing away from the building center. So this is supposedly there to avoid that this unit will be standing at the window, for example, facing inside. So let me see if I can get... nice, I can walk through here. And I can show you that these guys are covering the edges outside, so that's your little outside security, and they're also facing away from the building corners, which is nice because they're setting up a 360 security for this building right now. Yeah, if anyone gets shot, it's going to be those guys, but you get the idea. And it's also possible to man multiple buildings very fast this way. If you select, I don't know, let's say Team Red in this building, Team Green into this building, they're gonna move there super fast. Now, of course, I have to fast forward this a little bit because there's already in a building, but you can see that this is absolutely working. And I believe that to make everything a lot more immersive than before. And if you get in trouble, if you hear armor sounds or something, you want to get your units somewhere safe, you can just send them into a couple of buildings very, very quickly this way. Okay, just to punch it in really quickly, since I've been asked on the forums if I could add something like a satellite view to the dialogue mode, I personally don't really think that's either fair or realistic for soldiers to have a satellite view in any given time. But as a sort of more interesting workaround for this, if you're in a drone, you can still use 3D HUD mode to send your units around, and everything is just going to work. Everything is just going to work the way you're used to. One little disclaimer that I have to give you is that if you're playing on a low difficulty setting, because you're using the right mouse button to control 3D HUD mode, if you just click it really fast, you're going to end up in the outside view unless you unmap it. But you can avoid this by simply holding down the mouse button for a little bit longer. So if I'm sending him there and I hold down the mouse rather than tapping him, it's they're just going to move there, and you're not going to lose your optic mode that you're in at the moment. So that just as a little addition, I think is quite nice to use a drone, find a good position, and then send your units there. But that's not really a feature, just wanted to bring that up real quick. Okay, so that wraps up the additions to 3D HUD mode, so it's time to take a look at planning mode, or also called dialogue mode. And you can see that now inside of your display you have, you can see the unit formation index number, which is nice because now you can just tell who's where at any given time. And the second addition is that now this will actually take the difficulty settings into consideration, because if you play on veteran or even elite, you can't see the markers, so you still can't see them, but inside of the display here, if you open your tablet device, you're still going to be able to track your units, just not on the regular map. But this is set to I guess even recruit difficulty, so you have these indicators here, but I'm going to show you what it looks like if you have it set to a higher difficulty setting. So now you can't see your units or yourself on the regular map, but if you open up the interface, you can still see your units and also see the direction that they're looking at. And then once you set your waypoints and you get these lines, I'm just going to set a few, maybe a bit longer, so I can show you what I mean. And send them there. These lines are also not going to be visible on the default map, but once you bring up your interface again, you're still going to be able to track the movement of that unit. And then this can be changed on the fly. So if you go back into your configuration and you set the difficulty back down to, let's say, recruit, then the arrows will be visible on the regular map again as well. So that just gives you a lot more flexibility, and depending on what difficulty you like to play. Okay, this brings me to the second highlight of this update, which is that now in planning mode you have unlimited syncing items available for each waypoint, where before in version 1.0 you only had one sync item per waypoint, and that makes for very big scale coordinated movements that you didn't really have before. I'm going for a kind of overkill example right here. I'm just going to explain what I want to do. I got one team moving to this side of this big compound here. I want them all to raid it at the same time, basically. I got another fire team moving here. They're supposed to go in from this side. I got another fire team which is then going from this side of the compound, one that's taken the long way around the compound and then coming in from the west, and then that's going to go all the way around to the north and then assault from the north. So we're attacking from all sides with 8 units right now, or more than that. And let me show you how to sync these together, because it's kind of easy to be tempted to sync everything like one waypoint to the other, and then you assume they're all synced to each other, which is in fact not the case. You have to synchronize all the waypoints that you want synchronized to one and the same waypoint. So you can think of one waypoint as the master and the other ones as the slave. However, if the master gets killed on the way, this should still work in theory. So let's sync up the waypoints. So let's say this guy right here is my master waypoint. So I'm going to hold down Control and then click and drag the left mouse button over to the next waypoint for the first fire team. Then do the same thing with these guys right here. Oops. Yeah, you have to zoom in so you actually really make sure that you hit the waypoints. Do the same thing with the guys in the north to this one, and then do the same thing with this fire team waypoint over here. So now everything is synced to one master waypoint. So let's see how they execute this. Ooh, that's a lot of guys. Okay, so these guys already arrived. They're taking cover. I hit that quite nicely, must say, behind this little wall. These guys, yeah, maybe they would be fired at. Just a little disclaimer, planning mode in danger mode doesn't work too well. They're gonna take this little, yeah, everything working so far. These guys are waiting over here. Got 2 more guys waiting back there, and the other guys are moving to their waypoint. I'm gonna monitor all this from the map. So now these guys arrive and everybody is gonna start moving in at the same time. There we go. They're walking now, except these 2 guys, because I forgot it for them. But now we have guys assaulting the compound from all sides. in a very coordinated fashion. So that leaves very little chance to the guys inside to survive this. As I said in the last video, where I showcased a little bit of a basic version of this, your units have to be set to very high skill in order to not get wiped out, because I don't really know why, but if units are just waiting around, they find it a lot easier to kill other units than the guys who are actually moving anywhere, no matter the tempo and all that stuff. But here we go. That took me like a minute to set up, and yeah, it's a very nice result that you didn't really get before. So unlimited waypoint syncing, one of my favorite features of the update, makes for very immersive and big scale coordinated movements. Alright, the final feature that I want to go over is that you can now use AI drivers to chauffeur you all over the map if need be. So I have 2 units manning this vehicle, and the twist here is, as I said, I'm not going to be the driver. So before, which was a bug in 1.0, is that I didn't consider that if you're in a vehicle that's driven by an AI out of your team and you click on the map, it goes something like this. You just order, you just give like a default Arma order, so it would set a waypoint and your driver would try to go to each and every one, so you would get frustrated and not do it. So if you're in a vehicle that's been driven by an AI out of your team, you need to hold down the Alt key if you want to set down any waypoints, or this is going to happen. And I'm not talking about the Alt modifier that we use. I'm talking about the actual Alt key on your keyboard, because that bypasses these orders. So now unit number 2 here is my driver. I'm going to select him, hold down Alt, and send him here. Now this waypoint actually excuse me, becomes available like it's supposed to. The next waypoint is going to be here, next waypoint there, here, and here. So we're just going to take a little ride around the block, and I'm going to order him to do so, and this can actually happen. Nothing happens. So if you run into this, just order only your driver back into formation. And I don't really know why, but works for me. He's gonna drive the route that you gave him, and this works every time. I don't really know why, but it's reliable. So now we're in the car, and he's driving us around. If you play Warfare like I like to do, and you need to take long travel routes, this is a good time to have a cigarette and do the AI, have the AI do all the hard work for you. Or you can assault a town and be the gunner, kill everything in your path, and he's gonna follow the route that you gave him. And the quality of your journey heavily depends on the quality of how you set your waypoints. But anyways, now if I order him to stop, these waypoints will disappear, but also if I change into the driver's seat and go back to the map, that deleted all these waypoints, because the driver is not the driver anymore. So these waypoints become sort of redundant, because there's no way for me to really know what you're trying to do. So these will get deleted. But that's a good way to have the AI and abuse them as your personal chauffeur. And that kind of concludes this feature reel slash tutorial for the updates that we have in ASM 1.2, which is now again called C2 for control and command, because ASM was a name that was already taken, and I did not know that before. And last thing that I wanna mention is that this is now actually fully MP, or in other words, multiplayer compatible, where before it was not. It was super buggy. I never knew much about multiplayer scripting and stuff, but all the stuff, all the markers and everything is now local. everything happens only on your machine, and a lot of other stuff is also fixed and respawns and that sort of thing. I've played really long warfare games, and also like a modified a co-op where you can recruit AI. We played super long sessions, never had any problems unless the mission itself removes the keybinds, which some of them unfortunately do. But really, this is the only thing that can now still break the game as far as I know of, and I tested a lot, as you can imagine. But yeah, if you run into any problems, please let me know. And as I said, this concludes this video. I really hope you're going to have a lot of fun with this update and the mod in its entirety. And feel free to support on Armaholic. Give it some stars, and if you like it. And also on the BI forums, that really I would lie if I say that you don't get a kick out of that if people actually use the thing that you built for yourself, and if they like it, even better. If you find anything to improve on, also very happy for any ideas, and especially any bug reports that you run into. Really want to know about those. Yeah, but that wraps it up. Thanks a lot for watching, and yeah, I hope you have a lot of fun with this.